Hi everyone, I am Alchemic Interest and I would like to give you a reading today on what is the best thing for you to hear right now. I've shuffled my cards and I have three piles here. I have Sodalite for group 1, Green Calcite for group 2, and Selenite for group 3. So I want you to pick the group of cards that speaks to you the most at this moment. Okay? And I hope that this can give you some insight onto any questions you're having in your current life. And here we go. So, I'm going to move these off to the side. I'm going to start with the group that picked the Sodalite. So what is the best thing for you to hear right now? So I'm using Doreen Virtue's Archangel cards, and I'm using the Tarot of the Old Path, which was gifted to me by a friend. Thank you so much for these beautiful cards. So first I want to start with the Tarot. So what is the best thing for you to hear right now? We have the Five of Rods, the Star, and the Three of Rods. So for those of you who picked group 1, it looks like things in the past for you were heated. You saw people arguing, and maybe you were a part of it. There's the young boy, and then maybe you had a sibling that was with you, or some kind of outside influence, or some kind of authority figure that was who was really not willing to budge in what they thought. And you really wanted to change the situation, so you fought back because you thought, I can do that. I can protect my ground, and I have people on my side too. But it just seemed like everything was chaos. And right now, the way things are with the Star card, it's like you're very, very hopeful. What you want to hear the most is that it's okay to go forward with your positive thoughts and what you want to happen. You want to balance things out. You want to be able to feel tame and see light in the dark, because in this picture it's nighttime from the way I look at it, and with the stars in the background, this woman here is able to have a positive outlook even though it's nighttime and it could be scary. Who knows what's in those waters. There's these flowers growing out, so it's saying, with your hope, things can flourish. Just like this woman, she's naked, she's free, she's, picking up these shells and she's dumping water out of them. She's just having a good time, whereas in the past, you were trying to make things work based off of your will. It didn't have to do with what you thought, it didn't have to do with how you felt, it didn't have to do with what you wanted. It was just that you were taking action in the past, and there were other people that just seemed to be joining in on that action as if it was against you. And now you're like, you know what? I'm over that. I'm done worrying about these people that always seem to come into my life, that always seem to start problems. And why that is because you see that even though there's darkness, even though there is mystery and the unknown, you're willing to take a chance on being free and willing to take a chance on your own expectations and your own hopes and not have to feel like they're in conflict with everyone else. And it seems like what you, from hearing this information, what will happen, I think honestly you will feel like you have your own foundation set up, and you will be willing to accept other people's help rather than have it distort what you desire. And your passions will no longer be in conflict with others. If anything, I think because you're more hopeful and because you've decided to kind of basically say, like, F it, because you're just kind of willing to have fun and willing to put your past behind you, you are able to then receive. And I think this receiving is in the form of something that nourishes your soul, something that you wanted in the past, because I see this boy is reappearing again, and someone else is going to come along and want to help you. And while you're trying to make a decision, it seems like in the future, at least what will come is that you will receive help because you're no longer worried about anyone else. You are focused on making your world more beautiful, and other people see that and they want to join with you. They want to be right beside you, making life beautiful. And this could be like an art project. This could be making your heart happy. It could be so many things, but whatever it is, what you're doing right now, as far as what you need to hear, is that you are doing everything right to be hopeful, and it's going to work out for you. And what's coming soon is that you're gonna feel this kind of energy that you put to the side, this like fiery, activated energy, and you're gonna use it for yourself instead of trying to go against everyone else. You're gonna use it for yourself, and other people are gonna go, wow, this person has grown to be so positive, and they have learned to be with themselves, and they have learned to see the good when everything seems to be going wrong. I want to help that person. I want to be around a person who isn't afraid to be on their own and still continue to make things, and people will want to support you. That's what I'm seeing for this group. So let's go to your angel card now. You got Hello from Heaven, and it's Archangel Azrael. So it's talking about people in heaven. Let's say you had a family member that passed away, and you're really worried about if they went to heaven or if they're in a better place. This card's telling me that you need to hear that everything's okay, because those ones that have left you, that aren't around anymore in the physical, are still looking at you and still supporting you from beyond this physical earth. They are saying, listen, we're here for you. We know that you want to feel better, and we want you to feel better. We want you to feel some blessings. And I see that in this card here, is that you are going to get your blessings, and it seems like God is on your side. I think that's what you need to hear the most, is that God is there for you in the form of messages, is in there in the form of, you being hopeful when you're having a bad day. Those little things where you find $1 on the floor and you're just thinking like, you know what, that's a good sign. I'm not gonna go back to that time where I had to fight everyone for all that money and have to go fight for, more shifts at work or, a higher position. I'm more worried about myself now, is what it's saying. And for you, it's saying, take into consideration that the people that before you were here, and they also wanted the same thing. So you're not being selfish. I think if anything, every sign is pointing to you not only doing it yourself, being more hopeful, but that it was something that needed to happen, and now you are going along with the flow. You are letting things flow. And I think because of that, you're going to find help in the most unexpected places. This guy's literally coming out of a tree like, hello, saw you needed some help. Here's the extra stick you're looking for. And you're going to be like, thank you so much. You're not going to say no. I've learned that these people can be difficult. You're going to say, you know what? If you want to help me, great. Thank you so much. And I think that's you accepting in a way that even when people pass away and you don't get to be with them anymore in the physical, you know that their soul is going to be with you even after they pass. You know that they're going to always be in your memory, and it's not going to be something that anyone can take away from you. Let's say in the past you were in this terrible situation and somebody died, and now you're thinking like, you know what? I'm going to honor their memory. I'm going to take that negative situation and I'm going to transform it into something, into a foundation, into something solid. it's just saying the people that have passed away for you, the things that have left your life, they're in a good place, and you don't need to worry about where they've gone. No matter how terrible it seemed like in the past, it's saying you've grown from it, and that you are not alone in what you want. You are going to be helped. That's what I'm getting from this pile. Thank you very much for listening. I'd like to move on now to pile number 2, the green calcite. And I will start with the tarot cards first on what do you need to hear right now? What is the best thing for you to hear right now? So we have the Queen of Swords, the Empress, and the Three of Swords. So from the tarot alone, I'm seeing in the past what you thought was really important to you. You didn't feel like you needed to compromise what you thought about, because you felt like you had gained so much experience, and you felt like you were something that who you were was somebody that others may have wanted to argue with, somebody that others were a bit jealous of, because you seem to be so well put together. You have, your sword and this, nice fancy clothing, and this person's more mature, they're the queen. So other people could have seen you as mature, even if you weren't very old. You were somebody mature, and people were wanting to come into your life, and it seemed like they wanted to hurt you, that you were willing to fight, but you knew that that's not what you wanted. In your mind, you were somebody who wanted peace. You wanted not to have conflict, and you were ready to put up your arms. You were ready to fight for what you believed in, because you felt like your beliefs weren't something that hurt other people, but other people could have tried to hurt you in the past. And because of that, you were a little bit like, what do I do then? I'm this person. I feel so convicted. I feel like I know what is right and what is wrong, and other people may have been intimidated by that. Other people may have seen you like, wow, this lady, she's so put together. She's only, she could have been in her 20s, even in her 30s, 40s, whatever age. But it's like you were put together, like you worked hard, you put your mind to 100% effort. You didn't skip out on contributing what you thought. You were honest. Or maybe this is what you wanted the most, was to be this person, and that's what was so important to you at that point in your life. You wanted to be somebody caring, but also defensive when you needed to be. You wanted to be a balanced person, and I think you wanted things to grow. You wanted to use your intellect for good. And it seems like now you're going through a really, really fertile period in your life. What you need to hear is that you can have it all. You can be, someone who has the child, someone who has the nature, somebody who can have the peace. And I think other things around you are really supporting that. Maybe it's not a physical person supporting you, but maybe it's that you have these things out there in the world for you, and you don't need to hesitate from enjoying them. You can enjoy the world that you have and not worry about what other people think about you. And it seems like, what's to come is something that, maybe a little hurtful. Maybe somebody's going to try to really come and say, hey, what are you doing in that forest? What are you enjoying your life so much for? And you're not going to want to fight. So there's a situation that's going to be a little bit hard to deal with soon that's coming. But you're not going to have this involvement where you were trying to be twisted. You're not going to be somebody who's trying to hurt someone else. You're going to see other people doing this to each other, and you're going to say, wow, my intelligence also makes me very emotional. See how she's crying on the card here? I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but if I put it up here, this is the Three of Swords, and she's like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to deal with these crazy thoughts anymore. I don't want to see somebody die that I really care about. And that's something that's going to matter for you. You're going to feel like, you know what, I have a great life. I have, you know, the birds singing around me, the deer in the forest that looks so beautiful. I have all these plants growing around me. I have the abundance. But other people are still going to, in your future, be what you, it's not something that you feared, but something that you knew was going to happen. Like, you knew that people were going to keep fighting, and maybe right now you're trying to remove yourself from it. So even in your future, they may come around and, you know, come around you sitting on your little throne in the forest, and they may start fighting in front of you, and you're just like, I can't deal with this. And it's not like you're not prepared to deal with it. It's just that it's something that in your future you're going to be thinking, you know, I don't want people to fight. And I think that's going to be true for you for the rest of your life. So that's kind of why it came up. Is like, you have this life that you're creating now where you're super about being, you know, in nature, and maybe you're gonna have a baby soon, or maybe you've already had a baby, or maybe you're thinking about having a family, or maybe you're thinking about the family you already have, and maybe you're going to be arguing in front of you, and you're just thinking like, you know what, this is really hurting my feelings. And it's not like it's something you can avoid. That's what I'm kind of getting, is like, you know that you could just try to remove yourself and be in this perfect world where no one touches you, and you have your baby, and you have your little scepter flower thing, and the trees that just are surrounding you, everything's so beautiful. You could have that utopia, but being by yourself, you know that that doesn't make you happy either. Just being always removed from your surroundings, you're going to want to figure out how to deal with people who argue and people who are just hurting each other, and it's going to hurt you. There's like, if it didn't hurt you, I would think that you had no emotions, but because you're going to understand this pain, you're going to be able to help people think like you. When they need to not argue, they're going to need to go to this place where they can feel better. They're going to need to remove themselves from the situation, and it's going to suck to see people try to tear each other apart. But you know what? You're not going to be one that involves yourself with it. I see you being somebody who is actually regretful that the situation ever even could happen, because you'll feel like you had a part in it. You'll feel like, you know what? It's my fault these two people are fighting, but it's not your fault. I just want to tell you, if this is what's going to come for you, it's not your fault. It's not like you just went out these forests and looked for some fights and some arguments. You didn't look for that. These people are in the world where they just want to argue, and all they want to do is you know, throw each other in pain, and it's going to affect you, because I see you as somebody who's really affected by the way things are. Like, you really like to be in nature. Maybe that's healing for you, but then other people around you, they may be really damaging how you feel inside for yourself, because you're internalizing how these things make you feel when you're around them. And I think in your past you knew that that's how it was, but now you're like, okay, I want to get away from it. But it seems like later on you're going to want to blend these two things together, and even though these people are arguing, you're going to want to fix it. You're going to want to use your intelligence for good. So I have your angel card here, and it says clear your space. So this card makes a lot of sense for me, because for you guys, it seems like you want to get rid of things that don't serve you anymore. You want to clean things up. You don't want people to be arguing. You don't want how do I say this? You don't want anyone to bring you down. You don't want anything to come in your space, and that's why it says clear your space. You don't want anything that's not needed around you. You don't want to be, for lack of a better word, you don't want to be extra. You don't want to come across as like this person who's just so better than everyone else. You want to clean things up in your life and make things tidy. You want to see the world in a clean, beautiful way. And that's where I think right now you're focused on it, is that maybe you need to, clean out your apartment because it just brings you, there's so many tucked away memories, or your house, or wherever you are. Maybe you're just carrying this stuff around and you don't need it anymore. Would it, yeah, that piece of furniture you got, 20 years ago, and it was brand new at the time and you were super happy about it, but it's all worn out now, and why are you holding on to it when you could get something new? And it's even talking about feng shui, so maybe you could look into that and rearranging your house to have this like positive energy so that you feel like you're in a peaceful place. Maybe people will try to come in and argue around you, but you're gonna just be like, wow, these people are so petty because I'm in my clean space and they're just acting so messy. That's kind of what I get for your guys' group, for those who picked the green calcite. So I want to thank you for tuning in, and now I'm going to go to the last group, which is those of you who picked the group under the selenite wand. So first I'd like to start with the tarot. So let's see what you got here. For those of you who picked group 3, we have the 7 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, and the 4 of Rods. Oh wow, this is interesting. So it seems like for you, the best thing that you need to hear, I'm going to go in on this because it's like before you were willing to, it seems like you or someone else was willing to fight for what they thought and wasn't willing to compromise with the other party. So this is kind of like the opposite of like the last reading I got, in a way that it's like you actually did fight. You actually did go through with walking away, or maybe somebody walked away from you and took something from you, and you're just left there like, wow, I'm in so much pain because this person purposely did this to me, or maybe you purposely did something and you're thinking about it like, you know what, I did that and I was so crafty and sneaky, and hopefully they don't notice what I did. And it even is, it's talking about it now that you for sure wanted to get away from a situation. You wanted to take what you had as far as your emotions, what you had as far as your thoughts, and you wanted to get away from people that did not think the same way as you. And I think that's because in what you really wanted, what you want the most is this like stable foundation where you have the family and you have the kid and you have the dog, and you don't have to worry about having this giant castle or something like this. I think for you, the people who have picked this set of cards, you have seen it all, it feels like. You have seen the backstabbers. You've seen the people that will leave you or talk behind your back. You've seen what you want. And you're not afraid to keep all these things in mind. I think the whole vibe I'm getting from these cards is that you made a right decision. And even though it didn't seem like you were treated fairly, or you treated somebody unfairly, you learned from that, whatever it was, and you are now making the right choice to take a step back. And you don't need to bring everything with you. There's these 3 cups on the path. You know that you could try to take literally everything with you. Go completely remove yourself from the situation, or maybe somebody else is just removing themselves from your life and they've left some stuff behind. They couldn't take it all with them. They couldn't bring everything with them that they wanted to now. So right now, it's like you're on a different trajectory. You're on a different path now. See how there's this path here? This guy could be going towards these people and going to talk to them or going to see what's going on. but he's more worried about what he feels, and he's going to go to this other place, and I see this other place being having the stability, having the family, having, the dreams come true. And it's not like it's selfish. It's like, maybe you've gone through a lot of pain, and maybe you're thinking now, you know what, I'm ready to step away. I'm done reflecting on that past that I used to live, and I'm ready to go somewhere else. It's like picking up your things and saying, you know what, I'm ready to make a new start. I'm going to make that new start for myself. I'm not going to wait anymore. And I'm not going to be worried about if I forget some things behind. I'm going to go. I'll see you guys later. And it seems like you end up in the situation that is so good for you because of your choices that you're making now. It's going to affect your future, the outcome of this reading. It's going to be something that is what you wanted originally in this point. Because you see how there's 4 swords and there's 4 rods in this one? It's like what you took and what you thought was important changed. You thought it used to be important, what you thought, like the pain or something like this, what you thought was so important, you've like been able to say, hey, I've reflected and I've noticed that maybe it's not something that matters to me so much anymore. What matters to me is what I want next. And what you want next is this stable, loving situation. You want, to be with somebody that you can rely on, that's not going to just cheat on you, or, you're not going to just have a kid and break up. It's like something that lasts. And it's like almost like that fairy tale where they're like, they get married and they're together forever. Even if you don't believe in marriage, it's like you're with somebody and you really want to be with just that one person. Or maybe this is just saying yes. What you're doing now, it's going to help you in your future. So now we can read your angel card. And we got Archangel Gabriel. So Archangel Gabriel is saying, it's time for you to assume your leadership power and guide others lovingly. So you are somebody who's taking charge right now. You have been through this situation where you felt powerless, and you know what you want, that you're going to fight for in the future. And it's not even like you're fighting for it. This is what you're going to make happen. You're going to make something happen that you wanted to happen for a long time. And it seems like you were kind of worried about taking that kind of power for yourself. You were like, oh, if I'm a leader, maybe people will think I'm too bossy. But now it's saying no matter how many times you've thought this in the past, every time that you consider yourself to be a leader now, it's saying it's okay now to be a leader. Whether, now is you tell yourself, I'm going to be a leader now, and then it changes the next day, and you're not such a leader in your life, and you let things take you by control. You always have the chance to be a leader, is what I want to say. And you are somebody who can teach others from your mistakes and from your past. You are somebody who can actually help people get to the kind of ideal situation that you want to be in, because you know how it feels. You are the kind of people that aren't looking to be a tyrant. You're not looking to be a forceful ruler. You're looking to be somebody that leads people because you felt good about somebody that helped you out, or maybe you made that choice to take control in your life, and you're trying to tell people like, hey, I did it, you can do it too. You're trying to be gentle and kind to people. I don't see you being rude. I don't see you being hurtful. I see you being somebody that's saying, hey, you don't want to listen? I'm telling you, based off my experience, this is how it is. And, people are going to try to hurt you. And, you need to walk away from this situation. It's almost like it's not like a counselor, but it's somebody that has the authority to talk about what they've been through. It's not like you're just pulling it out of your butt, that you're just making this up like, oh, listen to me, I know it all. It's like, no, look, I've been able to get what I wanted for my future. I was able to do it because of the choices I'm making now. That's the thing you need to hear, is that it's time for you to be more of a leader in your life and take that role of leadership and apply it to your life in every situation. That's what I'm getting from your group. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that was able to clear up some confusion for you on what kind of things are best for you to hear right now. And I hope you have a good day, and I look forward to reading for you again. Bye.